Hello, and welcome to another episode. We're composing from scratch. This is episode 23. It's been a couple days since I last got to you. We are catching up a little bit, but I'm sure we're going to be able to jump right in. Sometimes it does help to have some fresh ears when you're getting right into it. So thanks for watching. Thanks for coming back if you're a return viewer. And let's get this thing started. Let's go ahead and jump into the project. And I will say, side note, the camera has been giving me trouble today, so we might have a little bit of camera adjustment to do. But let's just go ahead and jump into where we left off, and we'll take a quick listen here. And that's where we left off. This is just more of the ambient loop. So a couple different notes. This has been irking me for a while. And as I was setting up the video here, I was thinking about what if we reversed it. I've done this trick before. And so the idea with that is I want to have something that really shows like, hey, this has started, boom. And it's like, and you have the music come in. But I'm not in love with this exact sample. But I'm considering flipping it so it kind of has a zoom. That's what I'm thinking in my head. Like something that it sucks in, like it just pulls it, and then it's also editable. So since it ends with the emphasis there, the rest of it would be, you could cut it out and you could still just use that slow swell from nothing. And so just different applications for different uses. I didn't want this to linger into that, so I kind of put it a little bit before, so I think I can get it edged up pretty close to where these strings would come in. So I'm thinking that first off. I feel like with these samples, specifically speaking about the trumpet, also let me get my mixer up real quick. Specifically the trumpet and trombone, I wanted something really staccato, and I feel like there's just a little bit of reverb in that. Maybe they recorded it in like the chamber, so it's like there's just a natural amount of reverb. I'm 99% sure that's all down too. Like this would be our reverb bus, or not bus, but reverb knob, and it's all the way down on both of them, I would assume. But I just feel like it has a little bit. It's a little too spaced out on its own. So like some places it works really well. Like I like it for this part. Like those fast runs, I kind of like it being a little bit looser. But I want it as tight and dry as possible on that. Like I want those runs to be like quick and then off, quick and then off. And I could try to like gate it and do these other processes to like post clean it up, but I think it would be better, especially at this point, just to go and find a sample that's going to be a little bit more appropriate for this. I've also like another option would be maybe like layering on top of it and doing like a closer, like more dry one, and using this as a little more of like a wet bus, so it keeps some of those runs. I'm not convinced we'll need that because I'll likely end up adding some of my own reverb on top of it, and that will be where I can really play with that flare. So I think we're going to switch these out as well. Use the same parts, just different samples or different instrument for it. And then we do need to fill it out. So we're shooting for a 2-minute song here, and this would be the 2-minute right there. Nervous camera check. This would be the 2-minute right there. So I'm thinking we go ahead and extend these out to cover that 2 minutes. And I know we're talking about changing it or playing with it. I think just for now, just so we're looking at the whole thing, because sometimes when you're zoomed in here, you're looking at this and you see like, okay, like it's ending right there, and we just need to go a little bit further than that. So I'm thinking we go ahead and do that. So after that snare part, I'm okay with this being kind of like a solo like dip moment. It wasn't exactly where I wanted it, but extending it really felt unnatural. So what I'm thinking is maybe we'll leave that as there, and then we'll just come back way heavy after that, and we'll really fill in a lot of this. Then we have to find a way to amp it up at the end is what I'm thinking. I don't really want to leave on a down note. I would like to leave on a big boom. So that's something else we gotta consider. Are we gonna do another stop? Because I know we kind of talked about like this being like the first dip, and then gas pedal is, you know, shifting gears. So we're doing this, and we have to figure out what we're gonna do for the second parts of these because I feel like it's very empty. So maybe this would be like the second dip, and it dips a little harder. We can have it go back in, big percussion, like just a little bit bigger than it was before, a little bit more fleshed out, and then maybe have it do a small dip, and then really hammer it home, bring in a new instrument, maybe like bring in some synths or something, and have that take it to the climax. Or we can go another path with it. I'm still keeping it kind of like traditional, like classical-ish instruments, minus like the drones. So that is kind of where we're at. I'm thinking a good way to kind of get it from the lab phase into the like production phase would be, let's add on some more instruments today. We're already looking at some new instruments for the trumpet and trombone. Let's try to get like a little bit more filled in as an orchestra, and we'll even look at like woodwinds and stuff like that and just see what we have to play with and maybe kind of mimic the template. That way it's kind of like a mini orchestral setup, and it has a lot of the percussion elements that we're really using for a lot of like the drama. I'm also not going to chase the high-paced theme as much. I think we've kind of drifted too far from that to swim back now. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to use this as more of like a suspense theme, and then we're going to have to go in twice as hard next time. I don't even know. Maybe I'm going to pull out some like metal tricks, but we're going to have to do something a little bit heavier, a little bit harder to get that fast-paced chase theme that I think we were originally targeting. And to be fair, we probably could take this apart. Like if this was for a specific job, for a specific client and needed to be a certain way, I would absolutely reverse engineer it a little bit, take it back to where we were at a different point, and then see what we could change about it at that point to lead it into where we're going. But this has really just been a chill kind of writing something to write something. We're just throwing it in the portfolio. So we're not really shooting for a specific goal, and I do need just more upbeat stuff. I was listening through it, I'm like, I have a lot of like sweet kind of like dreamy things, but I really want a lot more emphasis on that. So like for like a feature length project, you're going to have a wide range of emotions, and I just want to be able to demonstrate that better in my portfolio. So that's kind of the purpose of what we're doing today. But with no more talking, let's go ahead and jump into doing some editing here. So like here is this. So you've seen me do it before. I'm just going to glue it. You know what? Let me stem it out, and then I'll reinsert it in. So we're just going to render, and it's going to render the whole track, which we don't need. So here's our original MIDI, and here is our sample. So we'll go ahead and cut it just somewhere like right there. And then we don't need the rest of this. Even this we really don't need. So I'm thinking let's just cut this off and use this as a sample from here on out. Drop that down, we'll delete the stem bus, and we'll go ahead and unmute it. Now we have like an audio sample of that MIDI note. And as you see, it's a little bit off as far as that goes. Let's try to glue that one more time just to make sure. Reverse. The reason I glue it is in case there's like like the long tail in front that we split off. I don't want it to be like, well, technically if you reverse it, it's going to be this whole mess and you're going to have to extend the thing to find where the actual sample is. Gluing it just means that, hey, this is our new thing. This is what we're working with. And it'll flip it right on its axis. Interesting. Well, let's see here. Cut a little bit of that tail off just because I saw some weird thing in the visual. So this is where our note starts. So we would have to the ending of it though. I don't like the way that's going out now. I need some of that abruptness, but I want it to fall a little more naturally than that. I'm gonna get rid of it. We can find a new beginning note if that's what we want to do, but that's just not hitting for me. And I'll leave the space here just so we can add something else in. Something I was thinking about was we have this whole long section of cello. What if we use that beforehand? So we were something like... And I don't know if that is going to be super kosher with the rest, but I figured it's worth a shot. Also, we can play with the battery. This one's going to have some reverb on it, so just be aware. Explosion mind control. Let's run with that one. See how that sounds. Do we have a sound effects bus yet? I thought we did. Well, it made one for us. Doesn't look like we did. So we'll just go ahead and name this sound effects. And we'll drop it right there. Now that one's interrupting quite a bit. It's gonna be a fun thing to mess with. It's gonna be wild. No, it's gonna have to intersect in order to feel natural, I think. Maybe we could reverse swell it. I could also release like an alt version without it. Maybe it's just a bad idea. Let's just take it off for a minute. We'll play it without it, and then we'll see when the song is a little more complete if it's something that's worth doing. Camera check. Camera check. These also could be lowered significantly. I kind of like where they are there, though. So I think at this point they would need to act a little bit different. So let's go ahead and try to do it. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. Let's try to do it without losing too much of the natural dynamics. Maybe we'll take these down to like right here. And I'm just kind of gradually moving each handful up to see where. Ooh, that one looks like it's too low. Why they're so low? Something like that, maybe. So let's do a little more fine detailing here. I want this one to go up. I want these ones to rise a little bit. I don't mind if it has a decline and then increase, but I want it to be a little bit more smooth. Let's go ahead and grab these. I think this has a little bit better of and like an incline on it. Okay, I think that is closer to what we're looking for here. Let me highlight them both. We'll jump back in just so I can kind of get a reference of what the other side is doing. So it was somewhere in this ballpark. You know, I just realized, did I copy them from the same sample? I can't tell anymore. I glued it, but I think it's all 13. I think they might be close enough where I could do something like this. So let me go pop that in like there. Now we have the same thing, and let's humanize like just the smallest amount. We'll do like a 3%. So as you see, like it'll really jack it up. We don't want that. This is 0. I'm just gonna go just a little bit. We just want it to be a little unique. Now let's go into this. I think we're gonna make this a little faster. Bum-ba-da-dum. Something like that, maybe. Let's look at the context of it. We have this. Okay, so I think in this section the kick is okay to just do its thing. But I think especially earlier on we want a little bit more going on since it's so alone. Let's go ahead and bring in the sidechain kick. I don't know if it's even worth it just to do that as well, so let's... So here's my mindset with this, is I want that sidechain kick to be digging out those main boom, 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 boom. I want it to be digging out those parts, but I don't know if I want it to be digging out the nuanced parts, those ba-da-dum, bum, bum, ba-da-dum. I don't know if that would be beneficial. I think that might kill too much, especially because if you remember the sidechain kick sample is not the same as that kick that we're using. It's a much bigger cut that we're making. So I think we're going to leave the sidechain kick doing its own thing, and so the kick can kind of be phased out with the string drone at the same time. I really want these to hit hard. I think we're pretty much maxing it out. Another thing we could try, and this might be a little dangerous, I just increased the velocity modulator. I'm not hearing a major difference on it. But I do think, especially, that sound is very good for us to know about for the next section, because I think having it do those faster notes in succession like that, I think that is a good texture on there, especially paired with the 16 drums. I think that does add some more intensity. This one, I actually want the secondary notes louder. This one, I really want a little more compression than what I'm getting. I think the EQing will help with that as well, so I'm going to duck it down just a little bit, because watch the way it settles. I really don't want it to affect too much of the settling, so I brought it up just a hair, so it's kind of out of the way of that. It's still catching a little second wave, but nothing too bad. Let's see here. Let's bring in some new instruments. So we have cello for these. Let's go ahead and bring in, it's just going to be a contact 8 kind of day. I have most of my like realistic instruments in contact 8. No surprise there, right? If I wanted to use more of like a synthy or like analog thing, I do have like FM8 and stuff like that. They have useful tools in there and some pretty realistic stuff, but I think this is kind of the main well to pull from. And let's go ahead and hop into brass, because we're looking for a trumpet at the moment. Go ahead and hit trumpet. Solo trumpet sounds good to me. So I can't actually hear these. They're not sampling these for me, which is upsetting. You wish it would. I've had very good luck with Cuba, so let's start with Cuba. It sounds silly, but the stand-up bass is solid on this this collection. Let's just see what they got. I'm not gonna prejudge. Let's go ahead and drop down to the trumpet section. It's not as hot as I was hoping. Sounds muted. Nope, not the one. Not the one. What does Contact have? I kind of like that one. Okay. Session horns is not going to give us anything, huh? So we're really between Session Horns Pro and the Symphony Essentials Brass Ensemble and Solo. So let's go ahead. I was liking the ensembles a little better, so let's go ahead and try this one first. Give this one a shot. Wow, that is way more of a hang than the other one. Let's try to get this on. I hear you trying, but we're going to look at other options, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and go here. Let's go to Session Horns. I'm not looking at the mute. It could be a good idea. I am not enough of a trumpet player. I've played with trumpet players. I'm thinking this is already closer. Even take off through. Oh, that's the delay that's off. Well, I don't need to worry about that then. Get right back on where it begins here. Yeah, so this one I think is the closest we've had to it. Let's go soft lead. Okay. So this is drag. I almost wish we had more than just the one playing, though. Let's go ahead and pop it in over here, and let's see if the Session Horns have matching trombone that would be solid. We have a bass trombone. Here's the tenor trombone. Let's give this one a shot. this would also be staccato. And then let's go ahead and pop it into the sound. Let's say we take off the reverb. Okay. That is a dry. That is a dry. I see why they like having a little bit of reverb built in. So let's think here. Let's go and take off the solo, and let's look at how we're going in, and let's start determining what we need to do to make this better. I think an ensemble would already be beneficial to that. But is it gonna be? Let's try and add a little bit of reverb, like almost like a horn buzz. I think later we'll actually bust it out, but for now let's just try to do something like this. About it's just really not hitting the way I want it to. I'm not sure. Is it my dynamics? Is this not pronounced enough now? Maybe could that be it? I almost feel like it's missing a little note. I'm trying to even hum it. Let's grab the rate. Let's do 0.5. And of course, let's make sure we preserve the pitch. Give it a sec to figure that one out. So dun 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 dun. Okay, so we're going with another sound that I'm still not in love with, but let's try copy and paste. Let's do another trumpet. Okay. Let's give it a little bit of a reflection. I'm just doing my standard, like whenever I need to do some reverb fix, I like to do like a small reverb, some sort of like delay, and then a big reverb. And you could really mix them down to like nothing if you need to. But it's just like a solid place to start when you're looking at something like this where you're like, what is happening here? And we're looking for some sort of like slap back. Like that's a common kind of term for it. We're just looking for like a little bit of a consent back. Ooh, mono tape slap. Let's see what that does. Wide slap backs next. Wide. That one I think is going to be more promising for us. And the idea for this, the way that I remember it being described, which I wish I remember where this came from, was it just like a little like if the sink drips and then it hits the water in the sink, like it's like blink, bloop, like you're just wanting something like that distance, like really just firing one after the other in a very small way. So that's kind of where we're going with that, and then we'll use another big old reverb. So this one we'll go with something big. Let's go another wide sensation. We're just going big. Too big. Too big. The dark plate's feeling a little more right. And I feel like that really hits the dark plate if I turn it up. Let me put it up in the mix real quick. On the runs, it hits much better. I feel like that kind of effect is better, but then for the short notes, it's killing me. So let's try to just match that. Let's go like 45, 45, or 46, but we'll forgive it. So let's go back here. Let's take off the solo. It feels gutless is my issue. Well, maybe we're still on the quest because that is a lot of additional plugins for not a big, like you really want to love it at the end of that one. So if that's not hitting, let's try a different one. We're going to give another shot on the trumpet here. Otherwise, we might bounce out of session horns and look at something else. So now we're pushing that one all the way to the left side. Let's go ahead and turn off my Instagram trap. They always bing. Click on me. I will not. I'm sorry. I will go to you when I'm ready. You know what I mean? So I'm happy with that. But the question is, do I want to keep this one on there? They both have some faults, but together it is a little bit better. And I'm wondering if we did a trombone tenor and trombone bass on the other side, if that would be something to kind of even it out well. So let's go ahead and take off the solo, listen to that one more time. Let's see it in context. Do a quick camera check. Still recording. Still recording. So we'll go trumpet 1. Trumpet 2. I would think about doing like deeper trumpet, higher trumpet, but we're just going to leave that because that is truly what it is trumpet 1, trumpet 2. It's not a left and right like the cello. So let's go ahead and hop into the trombone, and we'll make this one the bass trombone. We will do a capital B for it. We will uncaps lock it then. There we go. So let's hop into here, and let's check out the bass trombone on this one. Again, we'll just set it to a dry preset. Articulation staccato, same as the others. You might not need it, but we'll start here and then go from there. And what if we were to take this down an octave? I'm also thinking, what if we flip these? We'll put this one, what is that, 45? We'll put that one out like a 45. This one's at like a 50. We'll leave it about there. And we're doing like a 33. Let's do like a 25. And then what if we brought this down an octave? So we went into here. Not likely. But we can go higher. But this is our darker trumpet, and this is our higher trumpet. Or is it? Let me listen. Let's put the one on the outside an octave up and just see what happens. Well, I would like to be able to hear it. Let's put that one back. Let's try this one and see how that feels. I think that's getting closer to what we're looking for. That's our tenor trombone. What if we do something like this? Still a little squeaky. Maybe we can go in and do like a nice key switch, meaning that we change the articulation. So we go, let's see here. So this, guess we'd have to arm it as well, right? Now let's bring this back up. Good Lord, man. Somewhere there's supposed to be a key switch. Well, that doesn't make me feel better. Am I not doing the right one, maybe? Guess I'm just surprised that I'm not finding it easier. Can I play the instrument? Is there any issue with that? I just want to find where the keystrokes are, but right now I'm not even making noise. Man, is that could that be a keyboard problem? Let me try to unplug and replug. A good first start, right? Let's see if that does anything for us. Classic. It's always something. Well, we will work with what we got. Poor battery's still up there. Anything else hiding over there? No, it's just our session horns now. Okay, well, fun as that may be, let's go back to our keyboard here. There we go. So here's our staccato. And then right here we can go into our non-vibrato, I would guess. Interesting. Whoa. That's not doing it. Yikes. Wish I would hit harder. And I'm just doing that to get him out of the way of the velocity. I think that would be more of the keystrokes you'd want. So we can hop into here. Just want to make sure our keystrokes are changing it. And that's why we check. So we'll go back to interesting. It's weird. Man, that's sensitive. I'd like this to be the F sharp, please. All right. Now if we do it like that, it would be consistent with the last one. I think I like the growl better. Yeah, it just has a little more aggression to it. Okay. So I think that's better than what it was. Let's go from the beginning. Let's jump in and see how we like how that's hitting at this point, and then we're gonna move to the trombones, and then I want to add in some new instruments. I'm thinking like woodwinds. I want to pair something with those trumpets, just because they're a little jarring on their own. I want it to be like a very present lead, but I don't want it to be like, you know, an uncomfortable thing to listen to. I'm not in love with it. I'm thinking I might just take it out of the intro, or this part. Interesting. Man, some of this stuff really lingers. Yeah, I feel like it's just not hitting the way it's supposed to. across. This might be a good one for the mono tape slap. Just like something like there and 20%. I'm still needing like closer to 10. Let's see. I kind of like it with a lot of reverb. Some compression in between that one. I usually do the 24. I usually do the 48. Interesting. I don't know why that decided to pop up on us this time. It's actually... Yeah, I'm not seeing anything streaming. I'm thinking we're running into problems here. I do have an idea, but it's risky, so bear with me. Let's go ahead and save while we can. I don't know why that's open. Alright. I hear ya. Let's get back to the main and let's look at these key switches. Let's go ahead and unsolo the tenor. Bring it back to the forefront here. And it's my impression that one of these should change something for this thing. But maybe not. Maybe I'm mistaken. I don't understand. Am I on the wrong one? Let's see. Let me see. Soloed everything but. Maybe that was a problem. Maybe. Not for sure. There we go. All right. Growl. Then here we would go back to staccato. That even done. That run sounds okay. Let's get back to that. No, I think it's alright, just don't do this. Yeah, I'm pretty much gonna do the same trick. Just gotta make sure it's gonna actually change for us. There we go, found the range. Honey. No, we don't got another B, so we're gonna have to live with that. Okay, I think that sounds better as far as horns go. I'm thinking maybe here. Big in. And let's go ahead and see if we can't extend this to the ending. we'll kind of have it drop the higher notes last. And this one we just copy, follow the same pattern. I think it's something like that. All right, so now these are matching up to the ending. I have our big in. Since I did this kind of as a note, I'm gonna make a blue. Man, that is quite the chunk. That is quite the chunk. Ooh, okay. Let's listen to it from the top and just kind of hear how we're happy with this. And then we'll start focusing on some of the other goals here and kind of focus on the second half of this. Touch is a little bit too loud. So I really want it to hit its peak once it's in. I think that would like almost be the perfect timing for this to come back in. Why does it not line up better? I suppose that's part of the game. I almost think it should be something like more like that. I'm kind of vibing with that. Let's give that a shot. What if we made you a little crazier? So here would be another thing is I think it would really come down to this part right here. So bump it dun 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 dun. All right. Let's give it a shot on the other side. Catching the notes are sticking out a little too much, and we're just bringing them down to a more reasonable level. Let's go back, give it another listen here. I'm getting a little too fancy with it, I think. I think some of these are not working, the chromatic slurs. That might be a little bit more tasteful. Okay. I'm not too mad at that. We are growing. My fear is this going to be way bigger? definitely, you're shifting down. Like, this is not faster, but there's an opportunity to take that, and now that the rhythm's changed a little bit, we can make a bigger difference in another section. Maybe this would be a good place to do like a wall, like, you know, just like a big droning, like almost like a foghorn, like a natural disaster's about to occur. I don't know, some big thing. And then it does a smash in here, or maybe another build that can gradually get us to the end. That's another angle we can go. Check, camera check. Camera's working. I think I'm gonna use the restroom. We're gonna let it run, and then I'll be back in 2 minutes, and we'll go ahead and pick it up right where we left off. I'm gonna let it just cycle through the song, and then we'll get back on it here. Let's try doing it with this one. We are back in action, and hopefully that wasn't too torturous. Let's see here. I'm trying to think of how far we're realistically going to get today, and I'm shooting for like a 2-hour mark is what I'm thinking. And we've made some progress, but we haven't made enough progress, so I'm not quite ready to call it. I'm going to open this under the desk. There we go. Hopefully that's not too loud. I also try not to slurp or anything like that. Too bad. Yeah. If it's a reoccurring problem, we will fix it in the post. So let's see here. Let's get a big boing, and I'm almost even thinking like a big gong would be cool, but I want something that kind of lingers, so I'm thinking something in the synth world. And we're not done with the horns and the orchestral stuff, but I'm not too worried about fleshing all that out. I think the more layers we add, the stronger it'll be, and I think we might even be able to bring it in earlier. I do think we need more sections to it. This is a cool couple of runs, but we definitely need something that's going to fit on a more broad spectrum. The other thing is I would like to have a more incorporated like sounds, almost more like an effect rather than true melodies. So we'll have to see where that's looking like it would be a fit. But for now, let's just go ahead and worry about the next section. So we're kind of piecing together what the whole piece will be, and then once we know, okay, this is everything that we're kind of looking at here, this is where it goes, because we're not using a reference track, so we don't have the luxury of being able to say, we're getting to here, and now we have to get this to there. We're kind of flying off the seat of our pants here. Is that what the term is? And I'm thinking what we'll do structure-wise is going to be a big droning thing here, and that will be our last big dropout, and then something to build all the way until the end. And it can be a different part. It could be something separate. It could be anything at this point. I'm trying to think of what would be good to get that big bois sound. I think some sort of gong and cymbals, just shh, like that kind of opening would be good. Let's go ahead and open up massive, I'm thinking. I think they have like a sweep and swell kind of setup that we can look into. They sure do. So let's drag this over here. We'll go sweep and swell. What is our... Interesting. It's kind of cool. Get much more of a bois kind of sound. Kind of neat. I like that. Not for this, but. A lot of these I wish they would mirror on the other side. My favorite I think are going to be Battle Horn. And I think it was it Drop Lift? Pretty wild. Now let's listen to them in context and see if it really makes sense. So I would be thinking somewhere in that range. And let's try Battle Horn out. Let's work with Battle Horn for a second here. Let's get out of the animator one. Okay. So what I can kind of say about this, let's go to quick save. So I don't mind doing this, but let's go back to the edit page. And I would like it to last longer. Interesting is the sustain is the same. Okay, so we're getting some kind of big effects out of that. I will leave it where it is. But it's not quite hitting how I would like. Let's go. Like to match that kind of shape. Let's see. Gonna make it easy for us. Sure will not. Oh, interesting. We're getting alien. This is a weird one. Let's go ahead and jump back where we were. The thing I wish I knew was a little bit more how to bend this right. Maybe something like that would be better performance. doing something. Something like that sounds kind of fun. Let's go. Synth bass Texas. No texture, but we're gonna go ahead and give that a shot. I don't know if I love the top part of that. Camera's in front. Something like that to really throw it off. Let's just listen to it in context. Something's way off if that's hitting like that. Let's watch this one in action. No, something's not working. That will take it away. That is not what we signed up for. No, reload it. Try it again. Not even close to what you were doing for me the second time. battle horn. Not love that last note. The other thing is I still want it to be a big, long note. And I feel like I'm not getting what I'm looking for here. I'm wondering if we could... Why? Why is it different now? Why is that so off? I'm missing something. Something's not working for me. I would almost love if I could do like different levels of this. If I could almost like hook that up to the mod wheel, that would be cool. Alas, I'm not smart enough. Maybe someday. I could probably... Gosh, I really have to think about this. something like that if I can get that to work. I think that's cool. Is that what that is? Is that a pitch bend? Ooh. What about the mod wheel? Pitch bend, I think, is the other one. Are we getting too lost in the sauce here? Is this too crazy? I feel like this is pretty freaking ridiculous what we're doing here. You're guessing from here. I think it would be this one. I don't know if that would work now. Let's try it like this, maybe? Didn't do a thing. Didn't do a thing for me. Okay. Let's try it right. Why not? Why not give it a shot? Would you work for me if I asked nicely? Getting a little frustrated with this. Being a little bit difficult. And I'm thinking at this point, the best way to go is the way that we already know. So, go spin on it. It's mod wheel. You know what I mean? Frustrating. Alright, but we kind of know the movements we're doing, so there's no harm in programming it the old-fashioned way. Let's just make sure this is not going to bother us. I don't even know whether to do that side or the other side. This one, we're going a little harder. third one. Oh crap, I didn't even realize it goes that far up. All right, let's listen to this. This one should be a little better than that. That's a little harsh. That's kind of cool. I like the way that ended. So let's go ahead and listen back to the way it gets out. This is going to need some love to make it a little more pleasant, but that evil is fun. Wow, that is something else. What is going on here? Get out of that. No more. You lost your chance to do something new. We'll have to research. We'll have to go on and see how can I learn it straight from the mod wheel instead of having to program it. Pretty angry, if I don't mind saying so myself. And we still have a lot of build up to get to that ending there, maybe with more stuff like that, where it's a little bit more of this big, like just big presence there. I think we can use that to start building us up towards this big finale to cut it. And we have to also imagine, what is the story? What are we telling as this goes by? What are we trying to get across? And we're trying to get across something like high intensity, and I feel like we have a little bit of that, but it really doesn't feel like what we were originally shooting for. It's much more suspenseful. It's almost like someone discovered a crime and they're following the clues and they're getting very close, but they don't realize the killer's right behind them the whole time and seeing how close they're getting before they decide to strike. You know, I'm getting like that kind of vibe. Not so much like car chase. More covert. And I think this is the beast really showing its face, and it's just like this is like the moment where you realize how bad it's about to be. That might be a little too much of a scream. We'll have to see what we can do to make it a little bit more cohesive. We might not even need to bring the cut up that high. We really did go from nothing to maxed, so we could probably dial that back just a hair. Camera check. Camera's live. And we just crossed 2 hours, so we're going to go ahead and get to the wrap-up phase of this. Let's go ahead and get this sound working for us, and then we'll go ahead and start closing it out for the night. So I don't think it needs to go this high up, so let's bring this down. Maybe something like that, and then this can go to the third line again. Oof. The ending kind of throws me a little off. Okay. Let's go through and do a nice full listen to see where we're starting, see where we're ending off. I think that's a good space for us to be on this one. I just realized that drum sounds like the ending of the Boondocks. I don't mind that. These horns are not doing it for me. They're closer, but it's disgusting. We will be redoing those horns, I think. All right. So I hope you enjoyed. We went through and did a couple of good like overall edits. I think we have a little bit more cohesive of a song. I think we have a better idea of like the structure as it goes along. Now that synth at the end is kind of surprising. I mean, honestly, I didn't know if that's something I'd really want to do. Is bring in like those kind of elements, but I think it's fitting. It needs a little bit more love. I think some more EQ. I know it's like a low pass and I'm modulating. I think it's a low pass and I'm modulating or a cutoff or something. So I think if we maybe play with some of the EQ on that and just get it more contained but still really raw and energetic, I think that'll do a lot of good for us. We still have to do our last big ramp up to the end here. Those horns are killing me. I spent a good amount of time today going through and trying to get something a little more dry, so it's a little more like cut and crisp, but it's just not working, and it's more than likely my fault. More than like an instrument needs to be switched or like a plugin needs to be adjusted. So what I'm thinking is I have orchestral templates that I like, so let's use those. I think I'm going to not worry so hard about the trumpets, and I'm thinking I'll leave the cello parts because I'm not upset with the cello, and try to build this song out pretty much like all the way as far as like here's all the instruments going over it, and then I'll take it to an orchestral track, and then we'll go ahead and just build it out from there and kind of treat it like I took this track that I have with just this massive percussion, and it's like, hey, here's this, I'm going to play it for the orchestra, and then we have the orchestra play over it. I think that might be the best way to go, to kind of capture what's going on here and capture like solid orchestral elements, because the horns are just, it is not very good, and that is hard to deal with after you've been messing with it for so long. But it just doesn't sound it's a very they're very mid to me right now, and I'm not looking for just mid. I want it to be something that really brings it up and brings it out. So we'll see what we have to do with it. Maybe we're gonna have to live with some reverb, maybe some layering is gonna be the move. But what we got right now is not hitting it for me, so I think that might be something that we focus on in the next one. We still want to bring in more instruments. It's kind of like a battle between, do you want to write horizontally or do you want to write vertically? And right now we're more in the horizontal phase of this. We're moving diagonally, we're still adding instruments, but I think on the next one maybe we'll try to bring in some more instruments, and we'll try to flesh out more of how this thing's going to end. I do like this as a cinematic kind of thing. I'm not done apparently, I just keep talking about it. I like the cinematic aspect of this. It reminds me of like every trailer you'll see at the movies, right? So, but I appreciate everyone for watching. Thank you for tuning in. If you made it this far, you are an absolute legend. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, just go ahead and drop a comment below. I am happy to answer anything that people are looking for. If it's just a suggestion as well, feel free to reach out. Throw a like down there, throw a comment down there, subscribe if you want to see what's going on. We are much closer to being able to stream, and I'm thinking maybe Twitch is going to be the place to do it. I'm not really positive. I'll have to do a little more research. But we went ahead and connected our internet, like hardwired it in, so I think that should solve a lot of the connection issues that we're having. So I should be able to do that. As far as the DI issue, there's not a lot I could do about it, besides just getting through it quick and really not trying to do too much on those days, or practice without it plugged in and then plug in for the take. That way it's minimizing the what's going with the feedback of the DI with the recorded. But that's all a problem for another day. So until then, I will go ahead and get out of here, and I will see you hopefully tomorrow. So peace.